The problem with that putter is it looks horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It feels worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's firm and clicky and
Poor little thing. Is she with it? She with us today?
she's there. Yeah,
Should we get her out?
Go on, get her out. She's there. She's gross. It's a foul looking thing. But what I would do, so I actually did some research. I was trying to figure out if I could get. Don't laugh. I can't laugh at it.
Look at her. Hello and welcome back to the episode of Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show. You know it by now. You know what's going on. Thanks for joining us. My name is Dan. I'm joined 3 episodes in a row this time. You've showed up. It's Joe the Pro.
I'm back. Yes, it's me. Nice to see you all.
We've come dressed the same today.
We're the Beige Brothers, aren't we?
We're the Beige Brothers.
Yes, I've gone full Adam Scott. I've gone 50 Shades of Beige. I've gone sort of brown trousers.
I've been enjoying your slacks over the last few episodes, I must say. Brown slacks is quite a move.
I've never really given much consideration to the lower half of my outfit for the podcast. Historically, I've always thought it's never going to be seen, but it sort of gets in there.
Oh, yes, we're all there. Everyone can see all of us.
I need to focus.
Coming up this week on Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show, we've got an explainer sponsored by Fujikura again this week. We're talking, well, the question is, Joe, can I play the same shafts as tour players? We'll find out the answer very soon.
I nearly started then.
No, don't start just yet. A brilliant Ask the Pod this week. Thank you for this one about 3D printing. We've sort of spoken about it a couple of times in the pod about how 3D printing is going to influence club making and can you do it at home? And Joe's going to talk about some clubs he would like to print if he had the apparatus.
Well, initially, my understanding was that we were both going to talk about this, but you haven't done anything, have you? Fortunately for you, I over-prepared.
Exactly.
So I've got more.
That's why I like working with you. And the what's in the bag this week is Aaron Rye.
Aaron Rye. I've met Aaron Rye. I've seen a fitting with Aaron Rye. I've spent a tiny bit of time with him. Looking forward to this one.
Okie
Good bag.
doke. He's from my neck of the woods as well, the West Midlands.
He's a Wolverhampton boy, isn't
Wolverhampton, yeah. So not too far from me at all. Before we get into all of that, I don't want to call this a mini tested this week, but you said to me, Joe, before we started recording today, there is a golf club I need to tell people about. And it was some sort of like, I have to get it out of my system. What is that club and why?
I had to get it in my best drivers video. I was filming best drivers for 2025 and then this came in late and I had to sort of shoehorn it in because the specs are so radically different to everything else I would test. But I just think this could be almost a new category within itself. So it's the club I'm talking about is the PXG Wildcat driver. Now it's part of a package set, if you like. And when I say package set, I say that loosely because this is like the most expensive package set.
It's got bad connotations, the word package set, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just sounds it sounds a bit cheap and nasty, doesn't it? But it's like, I think the full set is the best part of $1,200-$1,300.
$1,499.
Okay, there you go, $1,500. Okay, so that would make more sense because it is, I've said in the review, particularly the Wildcat driver, and actually the rest of the products, even the putter in particular, they could all sit in line and compete with the inline products that PXG have in their own particular fields. But the driver is just intriguing to me. It was terrible for me because I'm a high-speed player. However, I think the market's been crying out for this. Funny enough, Rick Shields, I saw him talking about this a little while ago, around a super high lofted driver in almost a driver spec. And this is what we've got here. So basically it's a 44-inch driver. So standard retail drive will be anything between 45 would be short now. So 45.25 and 45.5 will be about where most of the manufacturer's standard drivers are. This is 44. So a good inch and a bit shorter, potentially inch and a half shorter.
Is that shorter than my PXG secret weapon?
Similar. Yeah. Very, very similar. Okay. It comes in at C6 swing weight as well. This, so quite low on swing weight, very light component, slightly lighter head, slightly lighter shaft. And the whole thing is C6 as opposed to like a D2, D3 kind of swing weight.
Well, that's closer to the head.
Correct. So balance point's a little bit higher, just allows that head to get out in front of you for someone who can't release it and might slice the ball. Generally speaking, very generally speaking, some lighter swing weights can help that. And it's just easier to move, particularly if you're someone who's of a slower, more moderate swing speed or starting the game out. You don't want stuff that's too difficult. It's very easy to swing. But the main part about it is you've got this, obviously you've got the shorter length and the lighter swing weight, but you've got a full driver size head. I probably should have got the full details on this, but you sort of sprung this on me a bit. I'm pretty confident it's a 460cc head. It's like a proper full size driver head, but it's got 16 degrees of loft. So
wow,
it's like a forward loft.
That's
if you
a
like.
huge amount of loft. Does it look?
Oh,
you can see it
because
as well.
the face is so deep. You can see so much face. So it gives you so much confidence at address that the ball's going to go straight up in the air. And a lot of the pro-am people that I play with that have slower swing speeds like hitting their driver because it's got a nice big head and the nice long shaft. I'm going to hit this the furthest. But depending on the conditions, quite often they don't hit it furthest and they would actually hit their 3-wood or whatever a little bit higher because they need more launch. A lot of people don't have the speed to get something of 11, even 12 degrees airborne enough to reach a comfortable peak height and optimize carry. So my dad would be a classic example of this. His Wildcat would suit him down to the ground. He's getting older and his swing's slowing up a little bit and he punts it out there quite low in the right conditions when the ground's firm enough. He can get that running out to a nice total distance. But there's so many people that just don't achieve a high enough launch or a high enough peak height with driver to maximize any distance and get some good carry and carry some products. And you, like I said, people are often dropping down to 3-wood and 4-wood to try and get that kind of launch to give themselves a better flight and a bit more peak carry. But you're sacrificing distance in terms of potentially shaft length. I know this one's a little bit shorter, but it's still longer than a 3-wood would be. So you're sacrificing a few things then. You're sacrificing as well head size generally, because as we know, when you get down to 3 and 4-woods, they're a lot smaller than driver. So you've got less surface area to hit, so you might be losing forgiveness. This thing's intriguing to me, and I'm only going on raw spec here, and I've hit it because I wanted to see what it felt like and sound, acoustics, feel, everything like that for my review. But it's almost a pointless exercise because I have to slow down to what feels to me like hitting a pitch shot to get anything.
You're not at full whack.
So I'm looking forward to putting this into the hands of a few people I know of a swing speed, certainly sub 95, 90 miles an hour with driver, and really seeing and measuring some distance. And I think it could be a massive game changer. And I'm calling this now. By launch season next year, 2 or 3 other companies will have a 15, 16 degree driver out there.
Call it now. We'll put a pin in it and come back this time next year. You can buy it separately. I know it's in a package set. You can buy it separately.
They've done that with everything in that range, by the way.
So that whole Wildcat set, you can just buy the Wildcat irons.
You can buy the putter on its own. You can buy the hybrid on its own. But the idea is that this all goes together, spec-wise, weight-wise, shaft, everything's cohesive to make this nice package set, but it gives you the option to buy bits as you getting keener or you need them. It's really clever.
$300 in the US. I'm guessing about 300 quid in the UK. That's good value as well. This could be a real significant club.
And no downgrading materials or components.
It's not some cheap thing.
No. It's a proper golf club. It's just a really interesting spec that I think will be brilliant for so many people out there. Quite honestly,
there you go.
Rarely serious, but I honestly think this could be
we're in a serious phase in a minute.
Kept my arms crossed for the bulk of that because I really want to hammer home how I think this could be a very good thing. And like I said, this to me will be a precedent. There'll be some of the other manufacturers will see the performance and hear the buzz. What I'm anticipating will be the buzz around this in slower swing speed players, of which, quite frankly, it's probably the bulk of the market. There's not that many
sub 95 mile an hour.
Yeah,
surely.
Yeah, absolutely. And whether you're talking your senior players, juniors, some female players, beginners, people who are just sub that particular point, that could be phenomenal. Honestly,
one to watch. Good stuff, Joe. Thanks for letting people know about that.
And I love it. It's got not much on the bottom as well. Sorry, it just says I haven't brought it with me. Which
is it like the secret weapon?
Kind of, but it just on the bottom. It's just got a PXG and 1. It's just a 1.
Nice.
It's not like this is the degrees, driver, anything like that.
1.
It's 1.
Love it.
Looks really cool.
Enjoying what PXG are doing, their naming and their branding at the minute. Actually, they've had a really nice little run.
Yeah.
So that's a sort of mini tested this week. Just Joe wanted to let you know about that. That's good public service broadcasting, Joseph. And now it's time for the explainer, which once again this week is brought to you rather, by our friends at Fujikura, Joe. It's consistently the number 1 driver and wood shaft across professional golf. 5 out of the first 7 PGA Tour winners this year use Fujikura shafts in their bag. You use them, Joe? We spoke about this already. You use them top end of your bag as well, much like all these winners.
Throughout, it's just so much to like about Fuji. Obviously, the tour usage, the feel, the consistency, the quality control is exceptional. And we've spoken about this before, just making things easy to figure out. Like, we've got so much stuff going on in work and life, and whether it's sorting your insurance out, there's so many things you got to think about. Fuji made it so easy. You've got basically 3 profiles with the Inventus. 4 now, actually, with the whites coming in. So
don't tease the rest of it.
It's a bit of complication, but it's hardly complicated. Done me. You've done me, Fuji. But yeah, your black being low, launch low, spin. Blue being more mid-launch, and the red going a little bit higher. Super easy. Translates across the range. Love it. Know what I'm getting. Know what I'm going to see. And now we've got...
For 2025, Fujikura has expanded the Ventus collection, making Ventus and Velo Core Plus technology accessible to more players in more clubs in your bag. So we spoke about drivers and fairways there. You can get them Fuji in irons, wedges, putter.
Axiom in particular in irons did a video where I was playing on Matt Fryer's channel. Axiom shaft had him in some Tacoma irons, I think. Stable.
Daff uses them, doesn't he, Sam?
Yeah. Stable, really. And you're not giving up any weight or anything like that. I had the 125Xs. Stable, like really good for a quick player.
And as you referenced there, the new lightweight Ventus Whitewood shaft is the same Tour validated Ventus Velo Core Plus technology, but in a sub 50 gram profile. So we're talking really lightweight there. And you've also got the higher launching Ventus HB Red profile offered for the first time, which will help get in that hybrid or utility iron higher in the air. I hit that in Orlando. Again, I had a very stiff back, cold day. Was flighting this little hybrid quite nicely. So thank you, Fujikura, for supporting the podcast and for supporting the Explainer segment this week again.
I feel like we've just been doing free ad stuff for Fuji for the past...
Well, we can't help but mention them. What's in the bag. Yeah, and every time we talk about Explainers, they're a nice brand to lean on because we know what's going on with their You Play Them, etc. So they have been featured quite a lot, but nice to have them properly supporting us. And because we've been sponsored by a shaft company, the Explainer needs to be on shafts again, really, doesn't it, Joe?
It does.
And the question this week is, can we play the same shafts as tour players?
Taking it away, am I?
Well, I've asked you a question.
Well, I sort of, this can be taken in 2 ways. So I'll answer it in 2 ways. So the answer to both of those questions is probably yes. So the first way I took it is, can I get the exact same shaft model, flex and weight as my favourite player, as my favourite tour player? Can I get that? Is there any tour only stuff that I can't get, or have I got access? If I want that shaft, whether it suits me or not, can I get that shaft that Rory's using? And the answer is yes. Let's stay with Fuji because we're specifically talking with this. This is our supporting us. This particular episode.
Good work.
I've got a bit nervous there. I don't know what's going the wrong way.
There's not a person from Fujikura behind the camera with a gun at Joe's head. He's just got a bit stressed there.
Got a bit stressed, but. Yeah, so the Ventus product that Rory plays, you could buy the 7X driver shaft in black that Scotty Scheffler plays. You can buy that exact shaft, that exact profile. There's no tour sauce in it. There's no magic ingredient that goes into any Fujikura product that you just can't get. Absolutely 100% you can. Yes. Depending on your ability and speed and strength, I wouldn't necessarily recommend going into the same shaft.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, depending who we're talking to here, you can, but you probably shouldn't, but you can. However, there is actually, I would say 99.9% yes. Do you remember we did the Hideki episode where we were talking about his graphite design shafts where it's the same tech, it's the same fibers, it's the same construction, but they offered some different weight categories and flex categories specifically for Hideki that you can't go and get from a graphite design outlet and something like that. So 99.9% yes. That's the only instance I've personally ever seen of that. Like, you'll see some prototype shafts on tour sometimes, but ultimately they're being prototyped to come out as the next line of shaft. So you can still play that shaft. It's just probably hasn't been released yet. It will be.
Okay.
So in that sense of the question, 99.9% yes, you can go and get the exact same setup as your favourite player and play really badly because you haven't got the speed to load.
So there's no secret tour thing with these shafts. There's no Fujikura put these out to retail and we'll keep a few back here for the Rorys of the world. There's none of that going on.
Correct. Absolutely not. And everything, to the best of my knowledge, particularly with Fujikura, is QC'd the same. Doesn't go, right, we need to make sure these ones are bang on for tour. They'll go to a different department. It's coming out the same factory, the same way. It is the exact same product. I guess the only tour only or tour source bit you would kind of go into in the shaft markets is a little bit different tipping.
Yeah.
But that's still an available service.
You can still get that done.
You can get that done. You can go to a pro and say, I'd like this tipped an inch. You can ask for that from certain manufacturers. And certainly if you're dealing with a bespoke fitter like a Precision Golf Club Champion, Elite Fit Golf, whoever, they'll be able to build clubs to your requirements. So even that service is available to you. So you can get it tipped the same as your favourite player as well to make it even more difficult for you to pick if
so
that's your cup of tea.
So it's, yes, you can. Please don't.
Correct.
Unless your favourite tour player, I'm going to throw a real curveball here, I'm sorry, because I haven't planned for this. If I was to look at tour, men's and women's tour here, what would I look at on tour? And as a 100-mile-an-hour driver swing and whatever my 7.9 is, what could I look at and copy the most? We spoke about this, maybe like someone on the ladies tour. That's about
LPG
where their
tour,
swing
there's
speeds are
guys
at.
certainly on the Champions Tour, swinging driver around the 100, maybe just above 100 mark, but there'll be guys sub 100 still. So yeah, you might be able to look around some different tours, maybe not PGA Tour, to see something that's comparable for you at your particular speed. But yeah, there's certainly some good places to look. Stomach's going again. There must have been some wheat again.
More wheat.
But the second part of that answer, the second way I took that question was, I like Rory, I like Brooks, whoever, and I want to play their stuff. I want to play the Ventus shaft. Stop laughing at my stomach.
Your stomach's really having a roar.
It's a serious medical problem.
It's so frustrating because I bet it's not being picked up on the camera and it looks like I'm losing my head again. I'm not.
Please note, let's add a huge stomach grumbling sound.
Yeah, can we amp that up somehow?
But yeah, so I like this stuff. I want to play their shafts. I want to, but I want it to suit me as well. Is that possible?
It's a good question.
So yes, that's what, again, the other way I took that question is, I want to play Ventus Black because I like Rory and I like that profile. I like the idea of low launching, but I haven't got the speed to load an X Flex and it's too heavy for me. Absolutely, 100%. You can then go down the scale. So Fuji, other manufacturers will offer the same shaft with the exact same technology, same construction, just in a variety of weights and a variety of flexes for you to be able to tune it into your game. You are using the same product, just a slightly different flex and weight category, but the same construction, the same design, and it's going to do the exact same thing for you in terms of that. It's just going to be suited to your individual delivery and your own swing speeds. There's a two-part answer to that question.
That was very good. I enjoyed that. And I think we know there's tour source going into heads. That's stuff you couldn't do, like hot melt and stuff like that. Shafts was like the one thing where you can be like, yeah, I can really, what goes on tour can come to me as well. What goes on tour stays on tour. But what goes on tour can also be in my bag.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, in the Ventus Black 6X that Rory's used a lot in certain products, they also offer that in 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10 weight categories in 3 different flexes. So yes, you can do both. You can have the exact product, make life really hard work for yourself and it won't suit you, but you want it to just be exactly what they're playing. You can build their clubs, yes, but also you can have a version of that club that's the exact same tech that will suit your game. So yes and yes.
Can I play the same shafts as tour players? Yes. Should you play the same shafts as tour players? Probably not.
Unless you go down the weight flex scale.
So yes to both then, isn't it?
Correct.
Beautiful. Good explainer, Joe. I feel explained.
I feel
learned. Learned.
Back when I was growing up, before the old Tinterweb and stuff like that.
Tinterweb.
There was all this stuff was shrouded in mystery. There was no information. It must have
been really hard to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah, you just assumed that the stuff, and then you go to a tournament and see someone with a club you'd never seen, or a shoe you'd never seen, or a shaft you'd never seen, or things like that. And there was so much more stuff that was, oh, that's a tour thing, that's tour only, that's tour issue. It was a big thing. And now consumers have become so much more discerning and knowledgeable, and all the knowledge of these things is out there. And when people don't really stand for, why can't I have that?
No, not anymore.
I want that. He's playing that. I want that. And then manufacturers are seeing, oh, there's a demand for it. So there's that whole tour issue, tour only world. It's
a hangover from the 80s, 90s.
It still exists. It's become more diluted though. I'm talking whether we're talking shafts here, whether we're talking certain heads, like Callaway do a few different variations of the Triple Diamond head. You might have seen Triple Diamond Max last year. You might have seen Triple Diamond T. So there is some tour only stuff. Those things start to infiltrate the market. Callaway, actually, again, there's a good example of it. That Triple Diamond Max that was tour only. There was a load of interest in that. They released a batch to retail because of the level of interest. That was going to be a tour only product. It became an interest. So they released a batch. You still see if you go on like a Golf WRX and look at the photos from the putting green at certain tour events, you'll often go and look around the Scotty Cameron bags and the Odyssey bags and some other stuff and see some head designs that you just don't see at retail, or the head design you like, but with a totally different sight line or a different insert or a different shaft. So it does still exist, but ultimately manufacturers are a bit more sensitive to it. And if they see some demand and some interest in something that has been tour only, you'll get it out there.
Interesting. Isn't it amazing how the internet changed the world? Yeah, it really did, didn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty significant.
Ruined it. It was brilliant before that.
Yeah, was it?
Honestly, you'd
was
have loved
it.
it. You'd have loved it, yeah. You'd have got a lot more sleep as well. Forever on the Tinterweb you are.
No, terrible. Thank you, Joe. Great explainer. I feel explained. I feel learned. And thank you to Fujikura for once again sponsoring the explainer this week. Just before we do Ask the Pod, Johnny, just before it, just letting Johnny know it's coming soon. Some plugging, Joe. Our new newsletter.
Plug away.
Get his people signed up to the newsletter. Come on.
Yeah, go on. Do you want me to
sell it?
The newsletter is one of the finest things. Look at me here. One of the finest things you could ever sign up for. I've signed up for some stuff in my time and it's been bad. There's been consequences. It's been expensive. It's not helped my life in any way, but this newsletter, this could really, really help you. There's loads of good stuff in it. We do some personal messages at the start.
There's a little note from us ahead of the episode coming out on that day.
Just to keep you in the loop about stuff like that. I do a bit at the end that's brilliant, where I raise my eyebrow and I explain things that have made me raise my eyebrow in the equipment world that week. Lunacy, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's good fun.
And also, if you're in the market for saving money and getting good deals and value for money in this cost of living crisis that we're in, we pick out the best deals you can ever imagine on golf equipment. Not tat.
The best of the best.
The best of the best.
There's just 2 a week. One for the UK folk, one for the American folk. Sorry, rest of the world.
And we're not talking 10 pence off, 10 cents off. We're picking
20p.
20 cents. 30s. Huge.
Sometimes $1.
We're finding the best deals we can because we actually, all joking apart here, we do want you to play your best golf. We want to give you good information about equipment that's going to work for you and have people be able to afford it and get it. So we look out for these deals and we genuinely, not like outsourcing this, we'll handpick those deals and we'll pop them in there because it's important that we help you out. We talk about all this equipment. Here's where to go and get a decent deal. Well sold, Joe. Did I sell it?
So, you're going to have to go and do this now because you want to sign up. www.golfmonthly.com/newsletter. Click on the Kickpoint one. Comes once a week, Friday afternoon. If you want the Golf Monthly one, great. Get stuck into that as well. You'll get even more golf stuff. But that's
I think these aren't paid for, are they? These are free to you.
It's free to you, like you're getting this right now. Totally free. If you don't want it, it's fine. It's not gun to your head situation here, though. If no one signs up, we might have to start pushing a bit more. Yeah. Get it. So thank you for that. And I must plug the more Golf Monthly stuff, obviously. But the magazine, Joe.
Yes.
We've had this for quite a while now, the Kickpoint offer. It's still going, still ticking along. 3 issues for £5. Bear in mind, 1 issue is $5.99. Try it out. It's all of golf in a beautiful 120-page magazine on your doorstep before anybody else. Get it.
Get it.
Got it?
Great product. Get it. Got it.
Good. You can get that deal at www.magazinesdirect.com/kickpoint.
Help cheer our friend Nige up, actually. Nige looks after the print side of Golf Monthly.
And Dave. Remember Dave? Big Dave.
Yeah. But Dave's jollier than Nige. Nige can be on our start of the week call. Be a bit
down. If he suddenly sees a bunch of Kickpoint listeners subscribing to the magazine...
Yeah.
He is an Aston Villa fan. I think that's what's
keeping him down.
Yeah, it's not going to get you too buoyant, is it?
I think if there's a sudden spike in magazine sales, we might see a different Nige. So go on, give us that.
Help us help him.
Help us help Nige. Save Nige.
Right, it's time for our favourite part of the week, Johnny boy. It's Ask the Pod.
I've given
them a bored of this. Oh, okay, sorry.
Ask the Pod.
Ask the Pod. Ask the Pod. Ask the Pod. Thank you, Johnny, on the ones and twos back there.
One of our better ones.
One of our better ones. I like the sort of you go, I go, you go, I go. So this is our favourite part of the show. Hopefully yours as well, because it's when you get to get one of your questions answered. If you would like your question answered like we're doing today, email us kickpointpodcast@futurenet.com or DM us on Instagram. We're looking out for all of that. Thank you for your correspondence. There are a lot of them, and that's great. We're going to work through them as and when. That's what I can say about that, isn't it? This week, Joe, it was for both of us, but as we said at the top of the episode, you're taking the lead on this one. It's from Oliver in Surrey. I bet there's a lot of Olivers in Surrey. So.
I bet there is.
Yeah. Hello, chaps. Loving the podcast. As an engineer, your conversation a while ago now about 3D printing really piqued my interest. 3D printing golf clubs. Firstly, is that going to be possible? i.e. doing it at home, I think he means here. And if you had the apparatus, what club would you invent and print for your game? Thank you, Oliver, the engineer from Surrey.
Easy.
Okay, I would love to partake in this. I would never do it. If you gave me the apparatus, I'd go and do something else. I really wouldn't want to do this. You, on the other hand, we wouldn't see you for days.
Print them away. This might happen soon.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The first part of your question, yes, you can do it. Remember that little video where you played in the young man who'd 3D printed his own version of a lab putter?
It's happening right now.
Went lefty and righty, extendable shaft. And he explained how he did it. And this kid was about 8, so he can do it. Sure, I mean, he looked and sounded pretty clever. But if he can do it, I'm pretty sure we can figure it out.
Cleverest 8-year-old on planet Earth.
Pretty sure we can do that between us. So yes, you can.
It's happening right now.
And it is happening amongst us. And yeah, I think it'd be pretty commonplace. I think 3D printing is a massive growth area in the world, and specifically golf. Super fun.
Right, so what club would you invent and print for your game? I'm guessing there's more than one coming here.
Being selfish here, I've got 3. So
settle in, everybody.
Settle in. So I have a love-hate relationship with my putter, my Odyssey toe-up number 9 putter. If you haven't seen it, Google it. It's not a pleasant-looking thing.
It's a real Frankenstein's. No, it's not even Frankenstein's monster.
A little half moon shape. The neck's very strange and thick and at a funny angle. The alignment lines are quite offensively wide, and there's 3 of them.
You've whacked a 2-thumb grip on it.
It's got a KBS C-Taper 130X shaft in it. I'm not sure why.
What's that doing in there?
Just wanted to change the shaft and wanted to see what a super stiff putter shaft would do for me. And
so it is a Frankenstein's monster, right?
And then the bottom of it is, like, again, no offense here to Odyssey and anyone. It's a very old model. They won't be offended by this. It's not a great sole design either. There's a lot of going. So it's a horrible looking thing, but I putt great with it. It's kind of one of the early, it's not zero torque. It's not quite in the lab realm, but it sits toe up, which means it's got very much reduced torque profile. So it wants to stay square for longer. And that's what appealed to me when I first picked it up. I hated it. Found it at Celtic Manor when I worked there. It was in the shop, and when you're bored, it was just hitting a few putts on the mat, and it just kept gravitating towards it, and then just kept seeing the ball going in and still hating the look.
What grip did it have on it at the time?
It was a Super Stroke. It came as standard with a Super Stroke Flat Toe 1.0, and that's how they came. And that was fine for me because I was putting sort of conventionally then, and then I went into a 2-thumb because I go prayer grip now. We're getting away from the 3D.
Sorry, I got way too deep. So what are you printing?
The problem with that putter is it looks horrible. It feels worse. It's firm and clicky. And
poor little thing. Is she with it? She with us today?
She's there. Yeah,
Should we get her out?
Go on, get her out. She's there. She's gross. It's a foul looking thing. But what I would do, so I actually did some research. I was trying to figure out if I could get. Don't laugh. I can't laugh at it.
Look at her.
It's not pleasant, is it? So I wanted to figure out. I actually tried to contact Odyssey, tried to contact some machinists, some millers, see if I could get an area of the face milled out. Because I've always loved the white hot insert from Odyssey. The greatest insert ever made, in my opinion. It's made of the same material that's on the ball. If you want a nice feel, makes a lot of sense to me to have 2 of the same materials colliding rather than contrasting materials.
Yeah.
And that white hot insert is the best feeling thing I've ever felt on a putter, and I want it in there. So I was thinking, could I get that milled out and get a white hot insert put in there? Asked a few people, a few engineers said, that head's cast, we can't mill it out because it would just crack, and it's not if it was forged, you could start milling that away, CNC milling, but it's cast, and we're not going to be able to get that gap out for you. Then I was thinking, well, could I stick a white hot insert onto the front and build up the rest of the round?
Stick it,
Could I get something else done? Doesn't seem possible. So I'm stuck with the old girl.
She sat right there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. She knows. Doesn't look great and just feels clicky and hard and horrible. So what I would do, Dan, first thing, I would print myself. I would 3D map that, and I would print myself a version of that with a little section cut out ready, because you can just, it's so easy.
You're happy with the half moon shape?
Fine. Yeah. No, I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, yeah. But if I change the aesthetics, the profile and the weight distribution, that putter's not going to be the same. So I'd have to keep it the same. And if it was a Joe Ferguson prototype, I might change the Odyssey to Big Joe.
Big Joe.
Whatever, something like
Big
that.
Fat Joe.
Big Fat Joe, something like that. And I would, in my CAD file, I would work out what the width of the Odyssey insert is and the depth, and I would 3D print just the perfect cavity for me to stick that.
And then you can go get a white hot insert.
And then I would have the same putter, looking slightly better with the insert that I wanted. I'd probably maybe even leave it raw, so the rest of it rusted, something like that, and it would have its white hot inserts. That is the number one thing I would do.
That doesn't sound that unfeasible.
Well, someone do it for me then. Go on.
Someone do it for me then.
Serious, like that little kid. We put your video out there and showed you to the world.
I don't think we wouldn't show to the world.
Well, we helped. We passed it on. So if you're listening, you can do it. Odyssey. That'd be pretty cool if you could. We could show.
Oh, you calmed down then talking to Odyssey. Didn't you shouting at a young child?
We could show your expertise and what you can do from an engineering point of view, how you can create these bespoke people for nutters like me. That would be fabulous. Or if you're just a machinist that thinks you could take that on,
Kickpoint podcast
somehow mill out a gap. I've got a spare one that you can have a bash at. Just get in touch. I'm keen on that.
Okay, right.
Number 2. How long have we been going? 2 hours? Fine. Number 2, I would print a set of 3D printed, much like the Limit 3D irons, but I want some 3D printed blades, which we think Max Homer's got.
Oh, yeah, we spoke about that whenever we did him a couple of weeks ago now.
3D printed blades. So I'm a man who adds a bit of loft. I'm a bit scoopy, spin it. I'm constantly trying to keep the ball down. So I need, ideally, some strong lofted irons. But when I go into strong lofted irons, realistically, most of the strong lofted irons are in your game improvement, players distance, hotter categories, which I can get away with, but I don't want to. I want still that forged, bladey look and feel. But nobody makes a blade with a 30-degree 7-iron.
No, gosh, no. It's all 34,
44,
35,
43 degree pitching wedge or something like that. And to achieve that, I have to get a normal set of blades or little cavity irons and bend them strong. When I bend them strong, I'm taking bounce off, I'm adding offset, and I don't like the look of that.
No.
But no one in the world will offer me a set of
it's going to change your life.
Bladed clubs 3 degrees stronger than standard, say, for example. 2-3 degrees stronger than standard. So that's exactly what I would print for number 2.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
This is...
Any expanding on that?
No, this is proof that this is going to change your life. Though,
Cobra, you're big in the 3D printing game.
Stop yelling at people.
Sorry, you've shown...
Talk.
Cobra, I understand you're very good at the old 3D printing. Would be very keen on an experimental set where you're just giving me a 30-degree 7-iron, 43, 44-degree pitching wedge, and maybe even like a 17-degree 3-iron, something strong. Let's spread the lofts like that, an experimental set, blank if you like, Cobra, them, whatever you need to do, we're here.
You're here.
Where can they get in touch with us?
Kickpointpodcast.com. Just DM Joe for that one. I'm busy.
Socials, whatever.
I'm busy that week.
So, Cobra, would be great if you could do that.
Number 3.
And finally, I would
like
please. A driving iron, an extreme driving iron. So, Falcon Matsubara, Japanese man, my pal, who sent me a 0 iron. Do you remember? 12 degrees.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful, terrifying, wonderful things you've ever seen. Unhittable. Like, realistically, you're not going to use it in tournament. Like, the 1 or 2 you get, just
special.
So brilliant. And it's such a fun club to practice with and do that kind of stuff with. But it's too volatile for tournament play for me, that particular one. But most driving irons will stop at 16. Would be a very low lofted utility iron.
Sounds about right.
I want to see something at 12, 13, but I want to have that utility iron tech. So a Callaway Apex UT, a Titleist T200, a P790, whatever, a driving iron, hollow body construction, but I want it seriously low loft. Again, I can achieve a similar thing. I can get that 16-degree Apex UT, put a big bend in it and get it down to 12 degrees. I've got the same issues with look. Yep. I've got the same issues with bounce angle. So I want a proper, almost like a driver, but that's just an iron.
Okay, yeah.
And I would print that up.
Oh, someone get this man a 3D printer. I'm all about this. But the reason,
the reason this isn't done is because I would be niche, right? Because I'm weird, and also I'm quick. I'm a big guy, big fat Joe. I'm a quick swinger of a golf club. I put a lot of energy into it, but I'm not the market.
No,
I'm an outlier in that market, so they wouldn't produce something of me.
That's the whole point of 3D printing, though, isn't it? Is these bespoke things for weird people like you.
And Bryson has gone with that. He's gone, well, I'm super quick. This isn't working for me. I want curved faces weird on my drive. I'm super weird. I'm super quick. I want curved faces on my irons because I need the gear effect because I'm so quick. I need more forgiveness. Right, find someone. Tom Bailey at Voda. Let's get these printed up. Bash done. And I cannot wait until it's almost sad that it's coming at this stage of my life. Because if this came along when I was 25, 30, I mean, I'd very much still be unmarried and have no children, but I would have created some of the most wonderful things you've ever seen. So it's going to be really fun for me to toy about with in the next few years when it is I think it's time to bite the bullet. It's time to blow the budget here and get us a 3D printer. And I'm bringing some of my designs.
Oh, Oliver.
That'll give us some talking points, won't it?
That'll give us something to say. Oliver,
and some lawsuits.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah,
that has really, look at him. Look at his little face.
Got my juices flowing.
Really got him going. And if you would like any of your questions answered to get Joe's juices flowing or your own, do let us know. Kickpointpodcast at futuretech.com or DM us on Instagram. We're pretty busy on there and we will see it on there. Thank you, Joe. What about Johnny boy? Give us a time check.
38.
Whoa!
Tell us near the end of the day. We're plowing on.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. So that leaves us one part of the podcast left, Joe. Bro, what's in the bag? And we have chosen Aaron Rye this week. He's due a big win, I think. Tried in Mexico, didn't quite get there. And I think he'll be on the Ryder Cup team.
It's looking likely. I think he's crept into the world's top 20 as we record the podcast. He's just had I was going to say meteoric, but it's been really steady. He just keeps getting better, playing well in big tournaments. Had win 2, is it 1? Like you said, he's certainly won on tour now.
He won once last year.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you anything more.
And yeah, I mean, it's just from what was a guy who was just ticking along on the European tour. He initially, did he get his card through the top 10 scenario, I think, didn't he? Gone across, and he's just carved out a brilliant career for himself. And against the odds, because he's not a big hitter, and traditionally you think you just got to go over to the US and whomp it, but he's a fairly moderate hitter of the golf ball, really interesting character, and he's got a really interesting what's in the bag. Let's
do it then, because he's got a few quirks about his equipment that I'm just well documented that I'm sure we'll come on to. So I'll be interested to see if that translates into the clubs themselves.
So I first came across him at Celtic Manor, where I used to work. He came in, TaylorMade had one of the guys who worked on the tour van lived quite locally to Celtic Manor, so he would often use the facility to fit some tour players, bring some guys along. Aaron was pre-tour then. I don't think he'd probably turned pro, but he might have even been Euro Pro at the time or Challenge or whatever he was playing at the time. He's properly gone through the levels. He's like for the British audience here, Jamie Vardy, a footballer who's gone through the lower leagues,
played in every division,
worked his way up. He wasn't just a child prodigy and just went straight to the top. He's gone through it all. And I just remember this outrageously polite, mild-mannered, just courteous, just such a gentle soul. He's just such a really in-your-face, likable guy.
Yes.
So pleasant. He had his mum and dad with him. And again, just you can tell a lot about people from the way they are that he's close to them. And he was just so like helping his mum a lot. Just what a pleasant human he seemed to be. And it seems to still be the case. So
that's kind of that story about why he used those iron covers, is because he was so grateful that his dad bought him these clubs. He didn't want to get them damaged. And that's not the sign of just a nice person.
Exactly that. And I think it was, weren't the wealthiest family, but his dad was really keen on supporting him in his golf and just would often buy him the best things he could possibly afford, and sometimes beyond what he could afford. And stories of his dad sort of watching him practice, and he would sit with him with a needle and some baby oil and clean the grooves to get them done immaculately, stick the iron head covers back on and make sure. And you see it now. If you look at some of the pictures of, which again we'll be putting up throughout this, like his irons, got P7 TW irons. He's had them for ages. They look brand new.
Is it? Yeah.
Because they didn't have any of the, you call it bag chatter, don't you? Where they get the little dinks in the back when they're brushing up against each other. They look fresh as a daisy from the back. There's none of that, those dents and dinks you usually see. And I think it's really nice, isn't it? It's really nice, humble message.
Nice. He's lovely. Yeah. Okay, clubs.
Should we get into the gloves first, or the clubs?
Let's do the gloves. What we were probably thinking about.
No mad story around this. You'll have all seen it. Along with his iron head covers that he uses to protect his clubs, he uses two. It's one of the most. They are Mac Wet, which now Glenmuir, I think, own Mac Wet and get them out there. Just wet weather gloves. Wore two. They sent him some when he was younger. I think a manufacturer gave him some or something like that. Tried them, liked them. Stuck with him. That's the end of the story.
End of the story. Off you go.
There's nothing magical about this, but they did mention that his dad once forgot to bring the two gloves to an event, so he had to wear one, and he said it felt the most alien and ridiculous thing to him, and he just couldn't play. So since then, he's made sure he's always got a big stash.
The only thing I think of when I see him playing in like the US, in like Texas or some hot conditions, his hands must be so hot under those things.
They might be hot, but they'll be the sweat will be being absorbed into the Mac Wet. They're just souped away and disappearing. One of the other, I mean, people relate to him because of these things. Like you see at your local golf club, guy with the iron covers, a guy wearing two gloves, the guy with the beer towel stuffed in his belt. I'm not saying he's got that, but he's probably, that's one of the few things he hasn't got. He also uses fluorescent orange castle tees.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the driver, again, makes perfect sense. It's so logical though, because if you want something to be the same every time, the castle tee will put you down to the exact same, to the millimeter.
Every time.
Tee height. That's a really sensible thing to do, but it's like, there's a snobbery around it, isn't there? Castle tees, lovely.
He's sort of, if like your average club member became a professional golfer. Yeah. Is that harsh?
No, I don't think it is. Because but I don't think he minds that.
But he's got the quirks of your classic club golfer.
But the ability of one of the world's most elite sportsmen.
That's Aaron Wright.
Yeah. Good.
Great.
Driver. Keeps going. It's all a bit weird. TaylorMade M6
Still
driver.
In that. I knew he was in it.
2019. So
he's not sponsored by anybody, is he?
6 years. He was a TaylorMade guy for a bit. And like I said, TaylorMade were looking after him when at Celtic Manor. I remember he had the same set of blades. So I can't remember if I sat in on that thing. I think I did with Tom. Tom Davis was the fitter at the time. And then this set of blades just randomly turned up, delivered to the shop one day. The first TaylorMade Tour Preferred MBs. I'll put a picture up again there. And they just look great. And I remember him being fitted into them whatever year that was. And I remember seeing him on the European tour, taking off the head covers, and it was the same. It was years. Wow. It was on for like 3, 4, 5 years potentially. And so he seems someone who's willing to stick with product. I've seen him toying around with the Titleist GT2 of late, but I don't know if that, I've not seen it in the bag at a tournament, but I could be wrong there. Interesting shaft choice again. Aldila Synergy 70TX. Synergy Blue 70TX. There was a time when Aldila were considered like a premium tour regular. Not so much nowadays. So the Aldila Rogue was a big thing. Aldila NV. Don't see much. And I can't think of another player in Synergy. People tend to gravitate more towards Fuji, Mitsubishi, products like that, KBS. It's 76 grams. You can buy the shaft brand new for under 100 quid. Now, when you think of some of these other products that are 300 plus, that's sort of, again, the level. It's just, I just find it interesting. Standard setting, so nothing different on the driver, just as it is. Straightest driver on the PGA Tour in 2024.
Straightest? How do they measure that?
72% of fairways.
Oh, fairways hit, yeah. 72 across a season.
Across a season. That is super straight.
Think of the places he's played. Think of the clubs he's played, the courses he's played amongst that.
I wonder whether mine is 7.2. 72. That's ridiculous. And how tight they play and the demands. He must have to hit a lot of drivers because he's not the longest. He was 153rd in length.
So he has to be.
So
he almost has to be.
He's got to be straight, but he's so methodical. Again, with his, how tight his bag is, how neat. He's pretty deliberate. He's been one that slow play's been leveled at a little bit. He is deliberate, but he just repeats his routine. He's like a robot golfer. He's he's the antithesis of what I was when I was sort of playing. I was just a bit shambolic, and he was the type of player I would look at and be like, God, I wish I had your personality.
Yeah, otherwise I could be sat here now with Aaron Wright.
Correct. But you would be if he had my level of discipline. Guess what? 3-wood he uses, Dan.
We've had this recently. The QI10.
Everyone in the world uses the TaylorMade QI10 bonded hosel 15-degree 3-wood, and here's another one. It's just like, I must sound like a broken record.
I'm going to need you to do, I have to work on that. I'm going to brainstorm while we're recording, but just like an explainer on why. We'll do that maybe one day.
I'll do a deep dive. We'll have a special deep dive.
Not a whole episode.
Half an ep where I'm gonna. I'll speak to TaylorMade. Will put me in touch with whoever designed
they'll be
that
happy.
club.
They'll be happy to people to sort of dance around the maypole to that thing.
Yeah, 100%. Then we'll do that. But yeah, 15 degrees into a more familiar shaft that we'll have seen everywhere. Fujikura Ventus Blue 8X. Very similar in 5-wood. So he's got the QI10 again. 18 degrees to complement his 15-degree 3-wood. Ventus TR Blue 8X. So slightly.
Help me out with the TR.
TR is basically just the bigger, stronger brother of the standard Ventus. So it's just tightened up a bit. It's just tightened up the profile a little bit. Don't know what else to say about the.
There isn't any more. Everything that's had to be said has been said,
and we say it every week because everyone plays it. Hybrid. TSR2.
There's a rarity on this whole thing. And your ankles are pale.
Thank you for assaulting me there. Titleist TSR2, 24 degrees.
Wow.
So it's basically acting as his 3 or 4 iron because somewhat unusually, why not for Aaron Wright? His longest iron is a 5 iron, which you don't see that very much.
Only the best. Up there if I'm pointing at my bag over there. Only the best, Aaron.
Similar as a Dan Parker man. So Mitsubishi Tensei CK Pro White Hybrid 90TX in a D1 setting on the Titleist sleeves. That's a standard lie minus 1 degree.
Mm-hmm.
So be playing around the 23 degree mark, assuming the head was 24 to start with. So I've seen him a lot. I've watched him play a lot because I'm really interested. When you've sort of met a player or you've had some involvement, I've seen him and he hits some great shots with his hybrid. It's just, he hits a lot of them because he's some of the longer par 4s and he's not the longest. He's often floating this hybrid into those par 4s and he's so accurate with it. It's brilliant. Irons, again, one that's getting more and more traction that we see, the TaylorMade P7 TW. Fleetwood, Scheffler, Rye. There's a lot going on with that. True Temper Dynamic Gold S300. Now this is very typically Aaron Rye. I would imagine it's a weight thing. So basically, he hasn't even bothered with a tour issue S300. They don't do a tour issue S300, but there's basically the same shaft, the S400. It's within 2 grams. So I would imagine this is a weight thing because they only do the S400 in tour issue. That's 132 grams. He could have gone the X100s to get it to 130, but that might have felt too stiff for him. I don't know because he's not, like I say, he's not
That's what Hideki's done.
Swinger. Yeah, but I would doubt. Maybe I'm wrong. I wonder whether Rye has hard stepped his to make them more of an X profile, or if he's just playing a stock S300 shaft. But so it could be that. It could be that he just wanted that. He didn't want that extra 2 grams, and that wasn't suiting how he felt, and that's why he stayed away from tour issue. But it wouldn't also surprise me if he's just sort of gone, tour issue's a bit flashy for me. I'll go with the consumer one. He just seems that type of
100%.
fella.
It suits the rest of the bag, doesn't it?
Wouldn't surprise me at all. He's playing from the fairway most of the time because of his driver, but he's still 7th in strokes gain approach as well.
Wow.
9th in greens in regulation, 72%. So if he does make the Ryder
72%
Cup,
of fairways, 72% of greens. I want him as my foursomes partner.
Which is exactly what I was about to say. Anyone would be thrilled to play with Aaron Ryan.
Don't care how far back we are.
We're playing from the fairway every time, and no matter what I do off the tee, I could hit an 8-iron from the tee, and you'll float that hybrid and on the green. Be putting for birdie. He'd be the steadiest foursomes partner of all time. I could see him having a great foursomes relationship with like a Tommy Fleetwood, who's a very good hitter as well, it just adds a bit more firepower to it.
Ooh.
I think it'd be a really interesting, if he qualifies, that'd be a really interesting to see who he gets paired up with, because Eduardo Molinari doing all those stats on who's going to suit each other, whose games are going to complement. It's a really interesting, he'd be a really interesting profile of player to pair up statistically. So I'm really keen on seeing that.
Yeah, really rooting for him to get in the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, same here. Vokey design wedges. SM9 4610F. So he's a specialist pitching wedge player. We get about a 50-50 split between people who play the pitching wedge from the set or who play a specialist, like a Vokey pitching wedge. You know?
Yeah.
We're about 50-50 on that, and he's on the specialist side of things. Has that bent strong, so he's got there you go. He's a bit like me, wants a strong pitching wedge but a blade, so he's bent his to 44. So he's got a really strong pitching wedge. But he's obviously just putting up with the offset.
Hey, if your 3D printing thing comes successfully, get in touch.
Be in touch, Aaron. 48 degree 10F at 49. And then he goes into an SM10 5412D. That's a sandwich I've experimented with a lot at home.
Boy, I want to get Aaron Ryan on the pod.
And then he's got a Wedgeworks 60K, which is an interesting one because it's I couldn't tell actually whether it was the low bounce K or the standard bounce K. Either way, the wide sole is generally really good for bunker play. Really, it's supposed to be a real bonus in that regard. And that might have been put in as a firefighting measure because his bunker play doesn't look good. I looked at his short game stats, and one of those stats that popped out there, he's 147th from the bunker. He only gets up and down bang on 50% of the time, which
clearly quite low for tour
at elite level. Yeah, based on it, puts him right down the bottom end there. And you know, there's again with all these stats, you've got to look a bit deeper. There's some mitigating circumstances potentially. All bunker shots aren't born equal, are they? If you could have a run of 10 bunker shots where they've plugged in the green side trap, or you've hit the down slope, or you've short-sided yourself. So it can be again.
Unless you did that you'd have to do that for an entire season.
Yeah, I'm trying to help I like him, right?
I'm going to say, yeah, you love him.
He's a nice guy.
Putter.
He's in the TaylorMade Hydroblast.
Yeah.
TP Dupage or Dupage. I'm going to say Dupage. Okay.
That's like Hyacinth Bouquet and Keeping Appearances. There's an old reference.
It is a little. I'm going to ask you to fill in a minute because I just looked at my notes and I haven't looked at what ball he plays. So you're going to have to do some filling in a minute.
Okay, fine.
It's a testament. If you want to see, and I'm going to pop this picture up there 100%. I'm going to have to credit Golf WRX for this because this is from a tour event where they take some pictures from by the greens. If you want to see how hard you've got to work to be a tour player and a successful player and improve your game as much as the sort of the graph of his improvement. If you want to go on a steep improvement curve as that, this putter will show you how hard you have to work. Wait till you see the sweet spot on the wear mark on a putter. And don't think how little energy you're putting into a putter. So how many putts you must have to hit.
I've always thought about
wear
marks on
mark
putters.
Of that size on your putter. It's more prevalent than Tiger Woods is, that he's had for 25 years. Of course I haven't. Like 3 putts a year.
Looks like you barely used it.
I know 18 putts around, mate. So I think that's a really interesting one where, and I'm typing away,
rushing away,
frantically typing to try and find out what ball Aaron Rye plays it. But yeah, I think that's a really good example.
Talking.
Yeah.
The Hydroblast is a funny one. Again, we talked about Tommy Fleetwood last week who used it. That was sort of, it's not their like elite putter range really. It wasn't at the time. It was, as it was.
Great filling. Phenomenal. It's Pro V1, thank you.
Thank God.
So not the X. So again, the last 3 we've done, I think, have all been Pro V1 rather than X. So slightly lower flighted, softer feeling than Pro V1 X. One other thing I did remember having a look at, I'm looking at some photos of his equipment. I love when players do this. Homer was someone who did this. They get Vokey to grind off the loft on the sole. So it's either blank or what Rye has done. He's got them to stamp some letters on there. So it's just a nice standard SW, LW.
And that's so
gap.
Classic.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
Classical.
Yeah, because again, we've spoken about this. No offense to Vokey, incredible wedges, Monopoly, the gold standard of wedges. I just don't want all the information on the wedge like that in my face. I don't need to know the loft, the bounce,
it's not in your face.
The DNA, where it was, who made it. Like,
it's not in your face. It's not that much.
Well, Aaron Rye thinks so.
Well, why don't you and
Max
Aaron Rye?
Homer thinks so.
Why don't you and Aaron Rye start a podcast?
We might.
I'm done.
you've had
I've had enough. It's 6:20, and you're saying the loft and bounce number on the bottom of the wedge is information overload.
Interestingly, as I say that, he has then re-stamped the loft somewhere else.
So
head. So, sorry,
me and Aaron will do the podcast next week.
You and Aaron crack on. Yeah, enjoy yourselves. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about Aaron Wright. Really interesting.
That's as interesting a bag as I thought it would be.
An interesting bag, and if he continues on the same trajectory that his career has been going at the rate it's been going, he's going to be world number one.
And become the best golfer ever. It's like it's steady steps. There's been no it's just
up.
Doink, 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 doink.
Yeah, he just keeps climbing the stairs.
And good luck to him. We would love to see him in the Ryder Cup team, I think.
100%.
And that win isn't far away. Another win isn't far away on the PGA Tour. A big one could come this year. Good work again, Joseph. I really enjoy sitting listening to those. Just like gathering around the fire and listen to the old man talk.
Dan's gone, everyone.
It is 6:20. It's been a very long filming day. For those who don't know, we film all these in one big go.
Only we do that in one go. We filmed 4 eps today. We built an entire studio.
We set this whole thing up in like less than a day.
All for your pleasure. And this doesn't cost you a penny.
Please like and do things. Do something.
Stuff.
Do something. You've done enough by getting this far, to be fair, actually. I've got a lot of respect for people who are still here.
This is testament to how much I enjoy doing this. I've still enjoyed today.
I've loved it.
Marathon, and we get to talk golf and we get to hang out.
We're very lucky, Joe. Let's not, and thank you, Johnny and Rhea. Make some noise, Johnny, on the thing. The prod scored in the background.
Not sure what that was. We didn't hear that. So some noises just gone in.
These two sit and listen to us in this small rain-filling room.
As non-golfers.
And put up with this. They're the most loyal Kickpoint listeners of them all. So thank you for your work today. We're back next week. We're wrapping up. We're never going to come back. We're just not going to do this for another month.
Yes.
Which is great. So we don't know what's coming next week. So you'll be as surprised as we are. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Do all the subscribing. Do all the following. Get on the newsletter. Subscribe to the magazine.
I'm going to live.
Oh, God. He's not playing.
I'm not recovered from a terminal illness either. I am going to the Live Singapore event where
we don't know what names we're getting yet.
I don't know. It's exciting. I've asked for some big names to do some What's in the Bag content with. We did a load. Got some great stuff last year at Live JCB, didn't we? Got some real nuggets. I made a right nuisance of myself. Can't wait to do the same again.
And you'll hear about that next week. No, we'll hear about that next week.
Okay.
You won't hear an interview, but we'll know by next week who you've been and got. And we've Liv give us really good access, and this is a shout out to the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour. Liv are pulling their finger out, giving us access to their players.
Yeah, we've got a man on the inside, haven't we? Willie Tickle.
Bill Ticks. That's his name.
His name is
Willie Tickle.
Willie Tickle.
William Tickle or Tickle.
Yeah.
It's Willie Tickle. It's time to go, Joe. Let's go home.
Time to go. Wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Shout out Willie Tickle. See you in Singapore.
We'll see you next week. You'll find out all about it and more. See you later.